The response of the mayor of the police department, that has caused me exponential amount of trauma of feeling like I don't matter. And that is such a failure on all of their parts.
A failure. That's how Chloe Handrich and Samantha Zganjar described the investigation into a crash that changed their lives forever. In July, Chloe and Sam were hit by a driver on Water Street who blew through police barricades and severely injured both of them. That driver was only ticketed for failing to yield and driving without insurance and registration. Since then, their families have been trying to get answers from Milwaukee Police. So have we. Jenna Ray joins us now with more.
Last week, through an open records request, Milwaukee Police released this body camera video of their response to this crash. We watched that video with Chloe and Sam. They want to know, did MPD miss a step that night that could have held the driver more accountable? I brought their questions to the state's top OWI expert and tried to bring their questions to Milwaukee Police once again.
Seeing all of the footage was really difficult.
I'm just like hurt, confused, devastated, feel like our lives did not matter in that moment.
Ma'am, try not to move, okay?
A life-changing moment Chloe, Sam, and I watched together.
I still just don't understand when the police and whoever say this didn't rise to a level of crime.
Video from a poll camera just after 2 a.m. shows Chloe and Sam crossing Water Street when a silver Jeep crashes through orange barricades, hitting both of them. In body camera video from responding Milwaukee police officers, we see one officer question if the driver had been drinking.
We suspected him. We suspected the driver. She says she's a DD for some friends, but I swear I smell some alcohol. I think we're gonna have to do it. We're gonna close that SFST anyway.
SFST stands for Standardized Field Sobriety Test. According to Milwaukee Police's standard operating procedure, SFSTs are a battery of 3 tests developed by the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration to obtain validated indicators of impairment and establish probable cause for arrest.
You haven't drank anything tonight?
I had a beer.
How long ago was that?
A couple of hours ago. I had a beer in the shop.
Responding officers then call an OWI investigator to the scene, who is certified to perform SFSTs.
Walk me through what happened real quick. I want to make sure I get this right.
You weren't drinking?
I told him I had a beer in the shop.
I know it's a weird question. I just got to ask. Do you smoke anything? Take anything? Yeah.
I smoke cigarettes time to time.
The driver never goes through the standardized field sobriety test, which according to NHTSA includes the horizontal gaze nystagmus, one-leg stand, and walk and turn. In MPD's crash report, officers say they did not observe any signs of impairment in the driver's speech or actions.
It fills me with disappointment in the police because we trust them to do their jobs and to seek justice in these situations. And I think that all of the clues to do a standardized field sobriety test, to do a breathalyzer, they were all there.
I took Chloe and Sam's concerns to the state's top OWI expert.
The courts have ruled that the odor of an alcoholic beverage by itself is not enough reasonable suspicion to justify issuing the field sobriety test.
Steve Krejci spent 2 decades on MPD's traffic enforcement unit. He's now the coordinator for Wisconsin's impaired driving program that every law enforcement official in the state has to complete. He also watched all 4.5 hours of body camera footage.
This is new. That's probably from the barricade.
He had the admission, but yeah, if you consumed alcohol and you had that odor, the admission really doesn't add any reasonable suspicion to it. I would look for things like the bloodshot, watery eyes, the droopy eyelids, the flaccid muscle tone, the speech patterns, and all of those things as additional factors to look at.
Which you saw none of that in the body camera?
No, the speech was fine, the eyes are fine, the muscle tone is fine, the coordination is fine, the balance is fine. He probably determined there's no reasonable suspicion to even move forward with field sobriety tests, which again, I think is the correct decision.
State statute allows officers to take a blood sample from suspected OWI drivers who either caused substantial bodily harm or who violated a traffic law. Why not just take the blood in that case?
Well, like I said, it's up to each agency in the state to determine whether or not they will utilize that law to their advantage. Could they have done more? Sure. But were they required to do more? And I don't think that they were.
Since July, I've requested several interviews with MPD to try and get Chloe and Sam's questions answered. I was told we are not accommodating an interview, and I have provided all the information that is available at this time. I followed up in an email asking if police conducted a field sobriety test for the driver. The next day, an MPD spokesperson responded, not with an answer to the question, but saying no signs of impairment were observed. By August 12th, the investigation was closed, so I took Chloe and Sam's questions to Police Chief Jeffrey Norman while on a panel for the Milwaukee Press Club.
Based on the facts of the case that the investigation revealed, this was the outcome of the certain citations issued. I did not know that this was going to be the focus of your questioning today. Would appreciate more of a heads up on that, but we will get back to you about that and see what we can answer for you, because I don't talk things off the cuff. I like to get a more thorough review, and I just wish we had better use of this time than focusing on one incident.
After the panel, I asked if the chief had seen the surveillance video of the crash and if I could ask some questions about it, and was told no. Last week, after the department released its own body camera video to me through an open records request, it put out this press release, saying in part that I didn't reach out to them and claimed my report contained several inaccuracies and misleading conclusions regarding the investigation, particularly in relation to the OWI procedures. When we followed up with MPD about that statement, they pointed to one part of the story where the OWI investigator questions the driver.
Walk me through what happened real quick. I just want to make sure I get this right. You weren't drinking?
I told him I had a beer in the shop.
And that was a weird question I just got to ask. Do you smoke anything? Take anything? Yeah.
I smoke cigarettes time to time.
We've since clarified our reporting to explain the OWI investigator did not perform a standardized field sobriety test, which, as we told you earlier, would have included tests like the one-leg stand and the walk-in turn. MPD also claimed my report contributed to the continued trauma experienced by those affected by this tragic event.
You're the very last person I'd ever say caused any additional trauma to anything. And the response of the mayor of the police department, that has caused me exponential amount of trauma, of feeling like I don't matter. And that is such a failure on all of their parts.
I want to make it clear, before this story aired, I reached out to MPD twice asking for an interview. Once again, I was told they are not accommodating an interview at this time and was sent a link to the department's standard operating procedure for OWI enforcement. My request for an interview with anyone at MPD who can answer questions regarding this investigation still stands. I'm Jenna Ray for TMJ4 News.